Yeah, just thought I'd do a quick video. Time and money. What's more important? Do we need time more or do we need money more? It's a difficult question, really. When you first start reselling, hope this is the right way around. I think I've done my auto screen movement on the tablet for a change. Yeah, so time and money. When you first start reselling, and you launched into it like I was, trying to make a full-time career out of it, obviously money was more important than time. I had 100 hours a week to throw at it if I needed. But I had no cash to buy stock or to do anything really. I was concentrating on trying to get enough money to pay my bills and find my way forward. Luckily, throughout the early parts of my career, I was able to borrow money at the right times, which has fueled my business, and I'm in a better position now than I was then. But I had plenty of time, and I used to do a lot of this sort of thing. See this little guy here? I used to paint these and sell them on the internet. Now, to paint one of these to a decent standard is probably 1 to 2 hours, and I used to sell them for about 10 quid. So obviously the time spent on them didn't equate to the value that I got back. But at the time I had plenty of time, but I didn't have much cash. As time goes on, and you build your inventory, and you get a few sales, time becomes more and more important, as it is now. I'm just looking at our solds here. In the last 3 months we sold 2,560 items, so that's averaging 853 items a month. So every week there's 210 to 215 items a week going out. So obviously time has become important. We've got to be able to list enough to cover that so that we don't go backwards in our inventory. We've got to be able to source enough to cover that so we don't go backwards in our inventory. And obviously we've got to pack it and send it off. So this is when time becomes a lot more important than the money, because the money's coming in. We're selling 2,500, 2,600 items every 3 months. So there's plenty of money coming in. The limitations that we find now is the time. Luckily I've got my son on board now, so he lists every week, and all he does is list. I do everything else, and I do a bit of listing as well. And this is when the time comes that you've got to be careful. I'm guilty of this really, really bad. I'll see something, I think, God, that's cheap. Make a lot of money of those. I can split that down. I can make 1,000 items. If I get a fiver an item, that's 5,000 quid. Totally not taking into account the time that it takes to deal with that item once I've sourced it. My son, on the other hand, he's a lot more sensible than me. He doesn't have my flair, of course, you know, for buying the decent gear. Let's just say that. He's not here at the moment, so I can say that without getting a bit of a bollocking. But yeah, he has got a more analytical brain than mine, probably, maybe. I'm a little bit more sort of like, wait, get in there, let's get some stuff, let's wait, yeah, buy it. And I'm a very impulsive sort of person, which has caused a lot of problems during my life, really, being impulsive. Relationships and what have you, but let's not get into that now. Yeah, so I've lost my thread. Yeah, so in terms of like, he'll always say, what's the opportunity cost? I saw some items on auction this week that were big books of items that I could buy, cut up and sell individually. Bearing in mind we've already got loads of back stock and we've got stuff coming in all the time. And I'm thinking, God, yeah, get that for like 30 quid a book, 40 quid a book, cut them up, there's 500-600 items in there, and then I sell those for a tenner each, that's £5 to £6 a book. But I didn't take into account the time that it takes to cut the book up, get it all neatly done, get them all listed. It's not a viable proposition. And this is what we come into the term that my son always uses, opportunity cost. Sometimes you can get an item that will make you a lot of profit, but the opportunity cost of that item is really, really bad because it takes a lot of time to process it. It takes up a lot of storage space. It could be a slow seller, and it doesn't go for a massive amount of money. So in terms, it's a case of it's not worth the time to deal with that item. And then again, you can get another item that's got a fantastic opportunity cost because it's quick to deal with. It might sell for less, and you might make less of a profit, but it's fast moving, it's easy to store, it's in demand, and it's going to be in and out before you know it. So, this is the sort of problems that start to rear their head as you get up to, like, we've got 45,000 items. We're having to make buying decisions based on the fact that some items are not worth bothering with. And some other items that in the past I thought were not worth bothering with are worth bothering with, because I'll buy items in a run, I'll buy them dirt cheap, I'll list them, I don't have to change any categories, I don't have to change any item specifics, I can put a generic description, all I've got to change, and a generic condition report, all I've got to do is change the title, change the photo, and bam, 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 they're on. There may not be as much profit in terms of like multiples, but they sell quick, or they sell quicker, and they don't need a lot of dealing with. So the opportunity cost on them is good. You know, it denotes that, yeah, they're worth bothering with. Going forward, it's difficult because we're at 45,000 items now, or just over 45,000 items. Ideally, to get it where we want it to be, I think we can do it on 80 to 100,000 items of similar stuff to what we sell now. So we've got to double the store, but bearing in mind when my son came aboard in May, we had 16,000 items. We now got 45, so we put a net 29,000 items on. A lot of that has been stagnant back stock, granted. Some of it's been new stock, a lot of it's been stagnant back stock. So consequently, the sell-through rate of that may be a little bit less than the premium stock that I was putting on previously, because I've cherry-picked through these items, took what I thought was decent out, and then he's listed the schmizzle, the shizzle, the schmat, the crap, you whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so obviously the sales have not increased in line with the growth in inventory. They're not far off, but not completely, because obviously we've been listing substandard back stock. Going forward now, the working capital's nearly finished. Yay! About 700 quid owing now, so once that's finished we'll have a lot more money coming in, and my buying's getting better. I've also got the parrot on my shoulder 5 days a week when he's sat behind me over there going, oh, what are you buying that for? I mean, he's like the old man and I'm like the young whippersnapper who wants to sort of like just buy everything and anything, but he keeps me in check, which is fair enough. So, yeah, going forward, opportunity cost is going to govern everything. I mean, we've got 45,000 items on. We send out 850 items a month, and I still haven't got a label printer, which probably is pretty mad, really. I still write all my address labels by hand because, you know, I'm friendly with the guy at the post office. I didn't want to upset him. Yeah, one of those. But that's probably one of the next things that's going to have to come, because I'm spending more time doing the packing and parcelling and less time listing. So the opportunity cost of me spending ages doing the listing is the fact that I lose the opportunity, spend all the hours doing the packing, is that I lose the opportunity to list items, or list less. So that's one thing that we're going to do. We're going to sort that out, streamline that. Another thing that's increased the opportunity, lowered the opportunity cost, it's always the opposite way around, is that we've got an SKU system now. So everything gets bagged up or put in divider boxes that have all got numbers, and each pod within the divider box has got a number, so that when something sells, we know it's in divider box 6, pod 4. So you've only got to look in that area. Other items are in like bags. Now, mine start with S that I've listed. His start with E for Edward. So he's on bag E282 or something like that. 283. So when something sells, the SKU says it's in E281. I know just all I've got to do is look in that bag and the item will be there. So the actual picking of the orders is getting quicker and quicker. The only ones we do have problems with now are old ones from when I first started, when I had like 800 to 1200 items and I knew where everything was. And, you know, I didn't SKU anything. Everything was... sorry, I'm going to get a tissue. Everything was actually, you know, in my brain, basically. So I knew that where something was, but obviously as the years have gone on, these items have got buried in my brain because of obviously the SKU system. So now when something comes up that's really old that sells, we sometimes have a little bit of a problem finding it. We always find it, don't get me wrong, it's there, just takes more time, and that adds to the opportunity cost, because the time spent picking that means that at the end of the day I've got less time to photograph, to look for sourcing opportunities, to list other items. It's the same with your sourcing, really. I mean, when you go out sourcing, yeah, it's great, isn't it? When you first start, it's like a day out, you know. I mean, we still have days out. Me and my mate go out. We've been all over. We've even been on a ferry and gone and picked stuff in other areas, in other countries. You know, we've gone out and we've been all over. But those are more like days out, and if we find something, it's a bonus. But with sourcing, when you first start and you're searching through, say you start off your day and it's 9 AM, and you decide, right, I'm going to do charity shops today, and you travel from town to town doing charity shops, and at the end of the day you've picked up 20 items and it's took you 10 hours. Each of those items has cost you half an hour of time, which from an opportunity cost point of view would be a lot less efficient than if you had a contact who did house clearances and you had a big massive job lot of stuff. You go down there, you spend an hour, you come and pick it back, and you've got 300 items and you spent 2 hours. So obviously the opportunity cost of the charity shop would be a much higher than sourced off your guy with the job lots from the house clearance. Same again if you went to, say, I don't know, an auction. Say you go to an auction and there's several lots that you want. It's all under one roof. Each lot has several items. The opportunity cost there is a lot less than going to a car boot or wherever, because everything's in one place. You can buy it in one day. You've gone home, job done. So every part of your business is affected by opportunity costs, whether you realise it or not. It's a hidden cost because it doesn't actually cost you pounds as you can see it. It costs you time, and consequently the time costs you pounds. It's the same with your listing. A lot of people spend a hell of a lot of time researching items. We don't. We tend to sort of like just make up a price, but when I say make up a price, that is probably not giving it the respect it deserves, really. I've seen a lot of similar items over the last 4 years, so I have a rough idea how to price an item, and I tend to price slightly on the higher side just to be on the safe side. Obviously, if I see something that's rare, or when I say rare, it might not be rare, it might just be something that I've never seen before, then I do a cursory research. But again, I don't take too much notice of the sold prices and what have you, because when you look at sold prices on eBay, that is only 3 months. And say you buy something in April, say June, say you buy something in June, and you look at the solds will be for April, May and March, which can be slower months. So you look at the solds and the price would be a lot lower because people are quiet, they're taking offers, they're auctioning items to get sales through because they need money, and consequently it affects the values on some of the sold items. Whereas if you looked in January and you saw October, November and December's figures, the price would be higher, maybe higher than it actually is worth, because we're up to Christmas, people buy more, spend more, and don't really take too much notice of the prices. So, yeah, when you're looking at solds, you've got to be really, really careful. In terms of like making a profit, you need to not just look at the solds, you really need to look at sort of like what you think an item's worth, whether you've seen it before, the condition, etc, etc, etc. I'm starting to lose my thread a little bit now. As we were talking about opportunity costs, the opportunity cost of me making this video is very, very high because I'm not listing, but I've done my listing today, and we've had a few instant sales off items that have been listed today, which is good. We're doing okay in terms of sales at the moment, but we've always got to keep our mind on the cost of finding the stock, the cost in time of listing the stock, and the cost in time of selling and packing the stock. We need to make improvements in the packing of stock, in terms of like we need to get a label printer that will lower our costs in terms of time. Our listing's pretty efficient. We've got scanners, we've got light boxes, you name it, we've got it in terms of getting the stock on. We do very, very brief descriptions. We buy stock in runs. We buy big job lots. We buy people's collections. So the opportunity cost of sourcing is very, very low at the moment. We're doing really, really well. The listing we've got sorted. We just need to make improvements in the posting and packing. But it's something for you to think about when you are buying stock. Is, yeah, it's a bargain. Yeah, it's great. This can make loads of money off this to go for such and such. But what is the cost in time to deal with it? And is it going to overwhelm you when you get it home? Will you be overwhelmed by the amount of work that's involved? Will it get put on a shelf? Will it never be seen again? Or never be seen for a long time? Will you just get fed up with it and sort of like send it to another car boot or send it back to auction? All these things have got to be considered. I think a lot of the time in this job or this business or this game, whatever you want to call it, we count our money before we get it. So we count our chickens before they've hatched. We don't always take into account what's needed to process the items and to put them through the whole process of sourcing, photographing, listing. Oh, look at all them ka-chings then. That's a multiple order if ever I heard one. So that's threw me off a little bit. So we don't always take this into account to put all these whole spectrum of the work that's involved, the time that's involved to get these items to market and get them sold, and then when they're sold, the work that's involved in sending them away. If you were selling, say, I don't know, China tea sets, and you can buy one for £1, yeah, bargain. Sells for £20, yeah, I made a £19 profit, well, gross profit of £19 there, that's really, really good. But then, do you take into account the fact that every item has to be wrapped individually in foam and cardboard, and then packed properly? Has to go in a box that may not fit as a small parcel, may have to go as a medium parcel, cost you a little bit more money. Out of 100 items that you sell like that, 1 or 2 are going to come back damaged, where no matter how well you pack them. All these things have to be taken into consideration. So, thoughts on all the processes and what the costs are, not just in money, but also in time, is very important. I'm going to wrap up now because this has been a bit of a rambler. I'm just thinking about it. There's lots of things like this I'm going to be talking about in the next few months. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you in detail what I sell because I've woke up from that. Other people share plenty on the internet, and other people do $3.99 on Valentine's Day. That's the way it goes. What you tell is what you don't sell. See you later. Bye.